This is a phenomenon that's been on my mind for a few weeks, and I don't know how interesting anyone else is going to find this, but I figure I'd make a video about it and see what everyone thinks. Fear is an interesting thing. It's there to keep us safe and helps us prepare for possible dangers. It's kind of like a seeing eye dog telling us not to walk over that cliff. At least for most people, it's like a seeing eye dog. For me, it's kind of like an abominable snow beast that will rip me to shreds if I go near anything scary. Since I was a little kid, I have always had a problem with fear. Just about everything scared me, probably way more than it should. I was never one of those kids who could watch a horror movie just for fun. Being scared was never fun for me. It was just this terrible experience that it took days for me to shake off. Even things that weren't supposed to be scary scared the hell out of me. The entertainment of horror films was always something that completely eluded me, which is kind of a shame because all my other little friends seemed to have a lot of fun with these. And even when I tried to avoid them, things like horror movies always seemed to find me. I don't know why I remember this, but when I was about 9 years old, I was at a friend's house and I caught a part of a scene they were watching of that movie The Witches, and even that fucked me up. I was at a Blockbuster Video one time as a kid, and I saw the scene of Beetlejuice as a snake, and that fucked me up. And of course, my parents naturally saw nothing wrong with playing us E.T., since it was just a nice movie about a nice alien. But of course, I was so damned fearful that it turned into one of my biggest fears of all time. Oh god, get it off, get it off! Basically, I'm a wuss beyond all possible frustration. Obviously, things like Beetlejuice and the Witches don't bother me anymore, but to this day, I have an overactive amygdala when it comes to fear. The amygdala is the part of the brain that interprets stimuli, determines the significance of stimuli, and triggers an appropriate emotional response. And in every case involving something even remotely scary, my amygdala automatically concludes that I should react like this. Basically, my paranoid, overprotective amygdala kicks my logic's ass every time I'm afraid. I cannot have fun during a horror film. Horror films have never entertained me. They only bother me. But there is one exception to this rule, which I find fascinating from a psychological point of view, and so I thought I would share this phenomenon with all of you. When I was about 8 years old, I was at one of my friend's house when he brought out a copy of the movie Child's Play. "You have to see this movie," he said. "Oh my god, it's so scary." And I can't remember why, but I agreed to watch this with him. But deep down I was thinking, oh my god, this is gonna fuck me up. I'm not gonna like this. This is gonna be awful. Nightmares and no sleeping for a week. What the fuck am I gonna do? But I sat down and watched it with him. And when the movie was over, not only did I think it was pretty entertaining and cool, but it didn't scare me one bit. What the hell happened? How could something that was scaring all of my friends in the neighborhood not scare me? I'm the most cowardly of all of them. Where was this sudden fear immunity coming from? I was actually proud of this for a good long while afterwards. Child's Play didn't scare me. I did it. I beat fear. For the first time in my life, everyone was terrified but me. But why? I never really thought about it when I was a kid. I just sort of accepted the fact that I finally won this one and moved along. It's only now that I'm older that I want to know what it was that gave me a get-out-of-jail-free card on this one. So a few weeks ago, I sat down and watched Child's Play again for the first time in a while, and I think I have my answer. I think the thing that usually gets me about horror movies most of the time is that the things that happen in them defy reason. Something having supernatural powers or coming back from the dead simply shouldn't be. So when I see that, it's something my logical mind can't grab a hold of, and all I'm left with is my emotions. Rationally, of course, I know this is all fiction and it's just a movie, but the more masterfully a horror movie is made, the more my subconscious has a hard time coming to terms with that. But here's what happened when I watched Child's Play. I saw the doll coming to life and talking and killing people and doing everything a doll isn't supposed to do, but as this was happening, my amygdala and my logic started having a debate, and this is what they said. "Oh my god, it's a living murderous doll! Be afraid, it's an evil doll!" It's not a doll, it's a guy. Well, yeah, it's a guy inhabiting the doll, sure, but look, the doll is moving, oh my god! But the doll isn't moving, it's a guy. Try to understand this fear. If this had been a doll that was brought to life out of nothing, or if it was a demon possessing it or something, then I would let you win. But we saw this guy at the beginning of the film. We know exactly who he is and what he's like. All he did was make himself able to remote control a doll with his spirit. It's not a living doll, it's him. We just can't see him. This would really be no different if you were behind a screen somewhere controlling the thing with a joystick. I'm sorry, I can't rationally be scared by this. It's just a guy. Wow, that is just fascinating to me. Somehow knowing this guy from the first scene and knowing that it was him in there made this situation so easy for me to wrap my mind around that fear couldn't get a foothold this time. The funny thing is that possession is something that scares me, but the way this situation was set up was just terrestrial enough for me not to be afraid. So what do you guys think? Is that fascinating or not? Have you guys ever had a moment where you should have reacted a certain way but didn't? Leave a comment and let me know.